G'day guys, welcome back. My name is Wildkard. Yeah, so Lions tour's in full swing, and more I watch this tour, I am beginning to really not enjoying this at all. And it is becoming a bit of a, in my opinion, a bit of a phony sporting event at this point. And one of the things that really was, I had a bit of gripe about going into this tour is the idea of the Indigenous and Pacific Islander team. That supposedly you're gonna have to have the bloodline to actually play in the team. I really think that is wrong. I will never support a team that me or any of my future kids are not allowed to play in. So straight up, I don't care. Did not watch it. And then I saw the results after the game. I did my review on it about what my thoughts are. If you want to hear more detail as to why I don't support the team, you can go watch it in my channel. But after, I did have, a lot of guys were saying, hey, Walker, you should take a look at the game, maybe watch it when you have free time. So I had to look at some of the stuff, like, I did look at the results, and, it looked like the team did a really good performance. And then I looked at some of the news that came out, and, I was a little bit confused as to why some of the players that was in the Indigenous team were not in the Wallabies team to play in the first test. And I saw this article and it really got me thinking, what is actually happening here in the Lions tour? Is this a legitimate sporting event at all? Like, are players just being like held back because of the request of the Lions team? Are players being put out of the Wallabies because of the demand to put a better performance at the Indigenous side? Like, what is going on? Because as if you're a Wallabies fan, let's look at this in a minute. If you're a Wallabies fan, you would know that Tupou deserved the spot at the Wallabies, right? Like, he's not in 100% like tip-top form, but coming off the bench, this guy will be brilliant. And he was at the Pacific, the First Nation team, and not at the Wallabies. Another guy as well, right? I have no issue with Harry Porter, but Dalgunu is like the only winger that we have who knows how to tackle, okay? And he's not playing for the Wallabies, and he's at the Pacific Nation team. Yeah. So I don't know what's going on. And then I saw this article that allegedly P. Samu, a great Wallaby, he's currently playing in France, was blocked from playing for the Indigenous team because allegedly that the Lions thinks that the team will be too strong and they blocked him from play. And the coach, Todai Kefu, like literally complained about it and said it's just like unbelievable how they could just call him up and tell the players to not be selected because they think the team is too strong. And then again, who's making the selections of the Wallabies? If the Lions can make the selection decisions, for this team, which I think they probably did, right? Like, if like anybody watches the Wallabies would know that, in addition to Tupou and Dalgunu, who are just like clear and obvious, should have been playing for the Wallabies, there are some other players you could have put into the Wallaby team instead as well, right? Like, there's so many players like Sewu Uru could be like on the bench, Salaka Loto could be on the bench, Darcy Swain could be off the bench. You have like so many players here that could have been considered for the Wallabies in the first test. And like, who is making these selections? Like, is this a legitimate sporting event or what? What the fuck is going on? Like, seriously. Holy shit. And like, P. Samu probably should be playing for the Wallabies as well. What is going on here? I mean, is this just like a joke? What the fuck? Yeah, so something's not right, and you let me know what is going on. Yeah, I mean, like, people were like, blaming the Wallabies for a poor test. I mean, I was wondering why Tupou isn't in the team, and who knows? It's a bit of a joke. And as a result, obviously the players, not being in camp and played a test on Tuesday, The two players that I just mentioned, Tupou and Daugunu, are not available for selection this weekend again to play Lions in the second test. So the Lions could just win the tour in the second test. Because they probably demanded that these players play at the Indigenous game. Like, fuck me. What's the point? What is the point of this stupid tour? Like, God. It's just, like, bringing in racism, blatant racism isn't enough. And the Lions making the selections as well, right? My God, this is just really, really awful. Really awful. But anyway, let's have a look at the team selection for the weekend. So yeah, James Slipper comes in number 1 again. Ahead of Angus Bell. Dave Pareki number 2. Alan Alatoa come in number 3. There's a bit of a change with the Lions team in the scrummaging. Number 1, Andrew Porter comes in ahead of Ellis Genge. Dan Sheehan gets caught in number 2, and Ty Furlong, basically the Irish, starting, not starting. Ty Furlong's injured for a while, but basically the Irish lineup in the front row here. This will be tough for James Slipper with Andrew Porter and Alatoa as well. This is going to be tough with Andrew Porter added in the starting team. Ironman performance for Andrew Porter every game for Ireland, and undoubtedly this will be very, very tough for the Wallabies once again. Nick Frost comes in number 4. And the big return, someone I've been looking forward to for quite some time now. The Big Willie Skelton. Everybody knows I love Big Willie. And he's back here at number 5. And for the Lions, Mario Toji retains number 4 jersey. Number 5, Ollie Chesham. And with Will Skelton coming into the team ahead of Jeremy Williams, I think this might be at the difference that the Wallabies will be needing to make the difference. I do think that the physicality may be lacking a little bit. And Will Skelton will definitely bring that potential point of difference to get the Wallabies across the edge as well. Another big return for the Wallabies as well. At number 6, Rob Valentini, someone who was also injured last week. Again, dominant carries, physicality, something the Wallabies lack a little bit against the Lions. Impeccable defense, really. I think that another addition to the Wallabies would definitely tip the scale a little bit towards the Australian side. Ty Byrne gets the number 6 jersey. Once again, he was outstanding last week. Just everywhere for the Lions, defensively, breakdown, and immediately getting that first 3 points on the board. Penalty, just brilliant all around. Number 7, Fraser McRae, and number 7 for the Lions, Tom Curry. Despite criticism for him last week, he retains the number 7 jersey. He actually played a pretty good game. For me, I thought Jack Morgan probably deserved a shot at 7, but Tom Curry gets that spot once again this week. Harry Wilson coming number 8. And then Jack Conan retains the number 8 jersey, same as last week. Jake Gordon comes in number 9 for the Wallabies. Tom Liner, number 10. For the Lions, Jameson Gibson Park retains the number 9 jersey. Same goes to number 10, Finn Russell. Tom Liner had a bit of a a tough game last week. He's, I think that might be the first starting debut for him in the Wallabies jersey. He's had a decent Super Rugby season, but again, the physicality for him just not there. He's still really young. I think he needs to put on some size, really to to take him up to the next level. Skill-wise, he's definitely there. I just think that, just the size and maturity issue for him to get a bit better. Again, Harry Potter number 11, I thought it was pretty ordinary on the weekend, to be honest. I really thought Daugunu should have been the 11 jersey, and who knows? Who knows what the fuck is going on in these stupid tours? It just seems like the Lions can just make demands and change make players go play in club games whenever they demand for whatever they want to do, right? We don't really have a say. James Lowe comes in number 11 from New Zealand. Langton number 12 and Joseph Swali'i number 13. I really felt Swali'i should probably move to winger. Maybe Harry Potter gets dropped for Swali'i and have Hunter Paisami back. I think Paisami's injured. I think have Len Iketia move to 13 and have a different person at 12. But I just think that Iketia is better at 13. To be honest, he's better with the space given to him. And as shown again and again throughout the season at the Brumbies and previously for the Wallabies as well. I'm not sure. Even for Keddy at 12 and then have Iketia at 13 will be, in my opinion, a better setup than what we've got going on here, because Swali'i I thought it was very disconnected on the weekend. Anyway, Bundy Aki gets moved up from the bench at number 12 due to an injury to Tuipulotu, and then Hugh Jones returns to number 13 jersey, the best player probably the best player in the first test for the Lions. Max Jorgensen comes in number 14. Absolutely outstanding in the first test. Tommy Freeman, number 14. Not too great. I thought he was like a bit out of position at times with the kicking game. Number 15, Tom Wright. Hugo Kinnan as well. 2 fullbacks. Very similar style, but I think Tom Wright might have a little bit better in terms of kicking game than Hugo Kinnan. Obviously, Kinnan has been injured for a while there, coming back to the fold. Billy Pollard gets number 16 jersey. Angus Bell, number 17. Tom Robertson, number 18. For the visitors, we got Ronan Kelleher, number 16. Ellis Gench moved down to the bench, number 17. And Will Stewart gets a number 18 jersey there. Jeremy Williams moved down to the bench for the Wallabies. Number 19, Langy Gleeson returns at number 20. Again, also injured a bit and more power coming off the bench. He's been pretty physical for the Waratahs as well. So it'd be good to see him coming off the bench, make an impact. And then we've also got Carlo Tazzano, an additional forward, the 6'2" on the bench for the Wallabies. Tazzano will be really, really important for the Wallabies to, again, just bolster that physicality. So the problem with the 7-2 setup here for the Wallabies is that, you know, I just want to have a little bit of a tangent here. People like criticizes Rasty Rasmus for, you know, 6'2". Oh, sorry, 6'2". Did I say 7'2"? 6'2" or 7'1" on the bench. Without realizing that there's a lot of players from the Springboks team that can cover multiple positions, including, you know, having players like Quagga Smith that can cover the back line. So technically, yes, it's a 6'2", but it's actually not really a 6'2". It's like they have players that can technically forwards that can play backs. Same with French. When they play the 6'2" bench, they usually have a forward, a flanker that can play winger. I think there was one of the guys that actually, what's his name? I can't remember. One of the guys that actually can play winger, despite being a flanker, I think he was. But it's like again, a lot of people tend to overlook this sort of things when they do the 6'2" bench. And I think the Wallabies may have put themselves in a bit of an awkward position here because there isn't enough diversity, I think, to run the 6'2" safely for all injury problems that arises for the side. Yeah, let me know your thoughts. Like, if Swali gets injured, is Ben Donaldson gonna go to center? Right? So yeah, it's not really like a complete coverage. It's like a pretty high risk, and I'm not sure if Joe Schmidt's got this correct. But anyway, let's talk about the visitors. James Ryan from Ireland comes in at number 19. Jack Morgan, finally a Welshman, gets a nod at number 20. Alex Mitchell comes in number 21. Owen Farrell, Daddy's boy, comes in number 22. And then Blair Kinghorn, returning from injury, comes in at number 23. So very, very strong finish of the bench. And Owen Farrell obviously showed that leadership in the Moana Pacific game. Yeah, it's going to be really, really tough for the Wallabies, I think, once again this weekend with the Italian referee. Oh boy. I think he's actually going to be better than Ben O'Keefe, to be honest. Andrea Piardi. Yeah, it's going to be, I mean, at this point, I don't know what's going on, who's making the selections and what is happening with the tour. It's a little bit strange to me. Anyway, moving on. The rugby, what do you call it? The rugby rankings, the World Rugby rankings, unchanged in the top 10. Some big movers in the bottom letter moves. The big one is Zimbabwe. They finally qualified for the Rugby World Cup after beating Namibia by 2 points. We'll have a look at that article in a second. So that's probably the biggest move. Oh, Algeria moving up 10 spot. My goodness. Just skyrocketed. Anyway, moving on. So there was some talk about, Ronan O'Gara, some talk about potentially having the teams not reviewed until just before the game. And I think that, it's to follow like football. So the teams can't, game each other before the, you can't, adjust the game plan before the test match. But I mean, if you really need to adjust the game plan, 2 days before the match, it's really like, it really means that you haven't done your homework. Like, if you're going to be looking at the opposition lineup 2 days before the game and they're like, oh my God, we're going to change our game plan, it really means you haven't done your homework. It's very rarely you get a surprise from the opposition. Should you, and you know, if they are going to do something you've never seen before, then again, it's not something that you can just tell by the people. Yeah, I think it's not quite the same as soccer. I think that having players announced beforehand, kind of like give people some time to build the hype for the game is, I think, is more important than that strategic ambiguity that you give the players, the teams, a few minutes before the game. I think it's quite stupid, actually. So what I think the idea from Gar here is not really that great. The Springboks has announced their squad for the rugby, at least the opening rounds against the Wallabies. Rasi has called up 3 under-20 players into the squad, with some veterans kind of being put to the side, on wait. Faf de Klerk's put on hold. There's just a few players being put on hold, and then just having maybe a fresher look for the Springboks against the Wallabies team at home. This could be, might just put on the B team for the Wallabies, I guess. Depends how the Lions, Anyway, so yeah, I was just by the way, I was just having a look at flights to South Africa, right? It's a 32-hour flight, and it's a stop in Singapore. Oh, no, not stopping, but it's a 30 from Sydney to Johannesburg. Like, are you serious? Are you serious? 32-hour flight? Man, that's brutal. That is brutal. Like, how do you play rugby after that? Like, that is seriously quite brutal. Not gonna lie, no wonder why teams will always struggle in Super Rugby games, considering just the flight. It's taking you, it's taking you, 3 days just to go there and back, because it's 30 hours in the air, and I guess that's a cheap ticket. I mean, it's like 24 hours in the air, so 2 days just flying in the air, let alone the time difference. It's just so brutal. That is actually brutal, traveling to South Africa. So then we've got the news came out for Man in the Block. I think we talked about this a few weeks ago. He's going to Japan, playing for, what's his name? Hanazono Kinetsu Liners in Japan. He's signed over there. There's been some talks that he was going to leave for a while. All Blacks had a bit of an update on some of their injuries from their key players. Tyrell Lomax, Bolden Barrett, and Luke Jacobson are all expected to not have major injuries, so they're going to be available to play for the Rugby Championships. But Wallace Otiti, Ofa Tuangafasi, Peter Larkai, Tamani Williams, Asafa Almoa, and Scotty Barrett and Caleb Clark might not be all 100% ready to play. Depends on their situation. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. Some of the players are, including Scotty Barrett's captain. I think Scotty will be all right. But we'll see how people are going to pull out before the Argentinian game. Fletcher New has signed with the All Blacks, the extension at the Crusaders. Anton Leonard-Brown has exercised his sabbatical clause to go play for the Kobe Steelers in Japan for a year. So he's getting some extra money, play some Japanese rugby, and eat some sushi. England has made a complaint against Argentinian fan for racial abuse to their black players. So the Argentinian Rugby Union has made an investigation, but they couldn't really identify the perpetrators, because it's just random people in the crowd, I guess, yelling abuse at the players. So yeah, it's a little bit disappointing, but it is what it is. So some good news from, I think, the clubs in Australia is making some changes, which I really, really, really like. So there are 4 players in the Reds team have been given an opportunity to play essentially in November, basically the preseason in the the early part of the season in the URC on the short-term deal, to give them some more game time and obviously make a bit of extra money. One of the biggest problem, I think, for Super Rugby players, especially when it comes to competing against the French offers, is the fact that we play fewer games. And the French absolutely milk the players to the absolute most, to the point that players can't even play test rugby anymore. Our players are really just left pretty much half the year with nothing to do. So we have, I was actually talking about potentially having these players play in Japan, but this is a good move to give them some time to play in Italy, and just allow them to make some extra money and get some extra game time, and then building into the preseason in Super Rugby. This also includes a preseason game between Benetton and the Reds, and this will be just great news overall for Australian rugby, and hopefully this could be a model going forward to other clubs here in Australia as well. Maybe not in Italy, maybe in Japan would be great, because that'll be a better time for me to watch some of the games. And then Wales has named Steve Tandy, I think it was a former Welsh international, to be the head coach of Wales. Jono Gibbs has been named as the coach of the Chiefs, with Clayton McMillan departing to Munster. So he's going to take over a pretty, successful franchise and hopefully take that further one more step. Over to talk about this. So yeah, after 34 years, Namibia finally made into the Rugby World Cup after beating Zimbabwe. And I just want to shout out to the boy, to the man, the big boy, to the man, Fryer? Ian Fryer? Is that his last name? Fryer? Ian Fryer? Anyway, former Reds player. He actually won the Super Rugby title with the Reds in 2011. He came off the bench for like 5 minutes in the final match, and then he got the title, he got the medal, right? It's good, just got to be there, to win it all. And he was, I remember that. It was like, well, it was really, really good for him. And he's obviously, with family history in Namibia, he's made the Rugby World Cup with another nation. And finally, Joan Ackerman has been named this like angriest Bond villain you ever see, right? Like, my God, this guy looks like, he looks like an angry, bad South African, right? Anyway, he's been named the new Blues coach, taking over Jake White, and he was a former South African player as well. So yeah, that's the news for this week. Let me know your thoughts. Like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and let me know what's going on with the Lions tour. What is happening? And thanks for watching. Have a good one. Cheers.